Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story magazine. Get Schengen Story magazine full editions.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that you can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Schengen Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Schengen Johnson, The Final Solution. It will come. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget the final solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our charity.
Yes, you're welcome. We need to keep echoing those words of Trump because we still haven't gotten the solution. We are still in the dark. They are still robbing, they are still kidnapping, they are still abducting, they are still all the crazy thing he talked about is still happening. Welcome to Friday edition of News Echoes. Today is the World Affairs for Global Audience, and I'm here in Milan studio, Mark Godwin Iwejuwa. Joining me from Toronto, Canada, is the big man, Sir George Chukwu. Sir George, you're welcome.
Good morning, Massive Mark and viewers from around the world. Welcome to our news update on International News Update today. I hope everyone is good.
Yeah, we just keep pushing, George. Even though things don't look too nice with situations in Nigeria, but there's hope. George, let's go into it. Yesterday, the president declared that yes, it's nationwide security emergency time. He also has said he deployed DSS officers, forest guards, and now the presidency is looking into making state policing. George, this is one of the news coming in now. A declaration of world nationwide security emergency, ordering the army and the police to recruit more personnel, and looking into the National Assembly should look into working with state police. So, George, tell us, this is what we're hearing. Is that what you're getting to?
Yeah, we had an update on that. We are following the news actually to see exactly what is happening. But there's a major move to tackle nation security challenges. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared a nationwide security emergency. The plan includes immediate deploying of DSS personnel as special forest guards to secure vulnerable areas. That's one. In a significant shift, the president is also seeking legal backing to formally establish state police forces. A move, long discussed, and we have said it in this channel several times that we support state police. And part of the reason why we were saying so was simply because it is easier for you to tackle situations when local police that knows the area and also hit their ears on the ground, they can easily get information about some of these insurgencies or even criminals, because people can easily tell them. So in international news, the president also approved the Nigerian delegation to U.S. Nigeria Joint Working Group, focusing on strengthening the critical partnership. So this is a welcome news, because if we don't this, if we don't keep on pushing this, it will remain as it has been. And it's an insanity for you to continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And that's what we were seeing. So with this, Trump, who is, also was, whether it's for Nigeria and a Christian genocide or these insurgencies or terrorists, killing and kidnapping both Christians and Muslims, it doesn't matter. What we need is to go to the root cause of this and clip it once and for all. And that's exactly what is going to happen. So that move that he made is a fantastic news. And I'm quite sure there are quite a few number of people who would not like that move. Like I always say, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu wants to clap this, but most of the time, because he might be shooting some, stepping on some toes from the northern part of Nigeria, he might not be able to do it. But I see this particular movement, that is a welcome news for to clip
George, but yes, George, you use the word stepping on toes, which yes, and is a phrase we use normally in Nigeria. But how could we be talking of stepping on toes on some few elites with compared to 220, 30 million people? What is stepping on toes with this small number?
If you go to the history of Nigeria,
tell us, George.
From the time we became independent, receive our independence, from Britain, count the number of years that the Northerners have ruled and the number of years the Southerners have ruled, even during the military. Put it all together, and then you can actually tell us who is it that believes that whenever the presidency goes to the South, you start seeing stuff like this. Because with Jonathan in 2014, that they will frustrate his government, they didn't even want to step up. It was during negotiation that Obasanjo promised, the Northerners, okay, give us 6 years, okay, and we'll give you back 8+2 of Yaradua. And then you guys you are ahead of us. That was the only way he was able to convince these people, to allow the vice president to become president. If you remember, it took a long time for them to agree to that. And why was it so? We are a democracy, and being a democracy, once the president dies, the vice takes over automatically. There's no fanfare about it. It's a constitutional mandate. But it took a long time for them to do so. But let me tell you what is happening right now. So even at this moment, there are so many Northerners that are sympathizers of these terrorists. They don't want them to be brought to book. They don't want them to go to jail because they consider them to be our brothers in the forest. Because to them being in the forest is not a new thing. They're nomads, most of them. So being out there begging, going through the streets or living in the forest is a normal thing for the Northerners. So to them, we in the South, we know that such existence is not normal. We live in houses, but these people can exist in the forest and it is okay. And that's the reason why they can go through the farms or go through with their animals and live like several months, and then wouldn't even sleep in a house. So it's something that is easy for them. Now, one of the other problem we have is most of these Amajiris, they don't go to school. They don't go to school. They are not pushed into going to school. The Southerners go to school, and as a result, when they have become young men with all kinds of energy in them, it's okay for them to go into the forest and continue.
George, the number, the data says 5 million children are out of school. 5 million what you call Almajiris, and if generally 5 million of them, of Nigerian children, are out of school. That's a huge number. That's terrible. That's really
that's more than many countries in Africa.
Can you imagine? I mean, the country we'll talk about soon, Guinea-Bissau, that we were going to talk about, is just 2 million.
2 million people. So can you imagine 5 million out of
5 million children out of school in Nigeria.
Okay. So
we need to think. Yes, very, very strong. All right, George. So let's bring our viewers with what we're saying. Our viewers, it's Friday, it's International Update, and we're talking about Nigerian President Tinubu declaring nationwide security emergency. We're talking about him deploying DSS officers now and the forest guard to those areas in the north where there is this abductions, abducting people. He's also looking into legal backing from the Senate for state policing. So this is what we're up this morning. Also, one of those issues, George, let's talk about this one. He says VIP police guards should be withdrawn. That is people guarding some politicians, all of those policemen should be withdrawn. They should be redeployed to places where there is need for their services, not guarding Madame and Oga's wife, Oga's children.
Yes,
George. Yeah, talk about that, George.
Yeah, you see, and that's another move. You see, like I said before, it would take a strong political ball for somebody to make it that kind of move, because you know that in the news when we come out, we cry about all these things.
All these things.
So what happens is that behind closed doors, there are some people who will be making calls to him. Don't try it. Don't do it.
No,
but now, because of international
subsequent, yes, previous leadership, Nigerian leadership have made that announcement, but it's never adhered to. Nobody follows it. I remember.
You know why? You know why? The reason is there are some in the north who will call and say and threaten, don't do that. If you do it, the country will go, it will come into a chaotic condition. And that's
but why? I mean, what are they doing with the policemen as their security?
Well, think about it for a moment. Some of these people, the country is in a chaotic condition. And some of these rich men, they don't want to be out there without security personnel. And they believe...
but that's why last time we were talking of the civil defense. The civil defense is an arm of governance of security for such things.
Yes, there are. But the police themselves are not getting paid very well. So when they are deployed into, being Madame's bag carriers, they make more money and they live they exist in a better condition, because it's just guarding people. They, some of the cars that they're driving, with good cars, because they are carrying Madame's situation. They sit in the front while they sit at the back. So these air-conditioned vehicles, they move around, and then most of the time they're giving them a lot of allowances, so they're in better condition. It's almost like in the old days when they used to have, house slaves and the field slaves.
Yes,
the field slaves that are out there, they're cultivated, but the house slave will be inside the door, inside the house, eat or gas food, Madame's food, the good food. But those are the ones that are in the field. They don't eat food from the master's table. So that's the difference.
Slave.
That's what you see it over there. It's
difference.
That's it. Exactly what it is.
You just broke it down. Okay. Also, one of the things he said, because this announcement, these releases are very good to observe. He has ordered the police to recruit more personnel. George, let's talk about Nigerian police recruiting more people, more officers. Nigeria as a country has the largest number of youths, unemployed, and ready to work, energy-filled young men and women, but nobody is looking at them, taking them into consideration. George, recruiting the police is a very good idea, but when the police doesn't have good incentives to attract people, the police is not well funded. Look at the police barracks, George. Look at where they live. See where they lay their head. You will cry. So who wants to join the force when George, go ahead.
I think that once that door is open, you will see quite a number of few young men who would love to get into it. They would love to get into policing, regardless. But also, this is another issue that we are having in that country. The executioners of the law, which are the police officers, are not getting paid. And that's the reason why you see increase in bribery and corruption in Nigeria. Because when they're not getting paid and their housing, they live in dilapidated, environment, and there is nothing really to cry home about. All of a sudden, they start looking for arms and gifts from people in order to be able to survive. So that's another area that the government needs to attack. Take some of these allowances that they're giving to the senators and the House of Representatives and pass it over to the police. Increase their salaries. Increase that, because when you increase their salaries and increase their earnings and make their environment a more conducive environment to dwell in, then you start seeing police officers operate in a different environment. It will be attractive for young men to get into policing. And you will see a lot of educated young men, university students might even join the police force and join the military because it is about time. What we have seen in the past is a lot of these terrorists, so-called repentant terrorists. What do? When they come out, they will now slowly, put them into the policing and into the military, which is the worst thing that you can ever do, because their minds are already concretized with a belief system. And when they go in there, they will not stop what they believe. They will continue with their such belief system. And sometimes they sympathize with the terrorists, and they are the ones that are used to give information to these people whenever there is a strategy to eliminate them permanently. They will warn them. So when we are
George,
talking about moles,
you just broke down on deep intel, security intel. I mean, you should be
when
called in
when you
as an advisor.
when you talk about
So,
moles
yes, these are
in our communities, these are the sympathizers, and there are some people that are gaining out of it too, because some
yes,
of this money that these insurgents, when they get this naira, when they paid, where do you think they spend them? In the forest? No, they
no,
mingle with the communities. They go
yes.
out there to buy food and buy things, locally, in order to go back into the forest to exist. And that's the
All
reason
right,
why
George.
you can see them,
Yes,
taking pictures together, talking with them, and negotiation is going on, because it's
negotiation
actually
is going
helping
on.
their economy in those local areas.
Yes,
So
that's
we
true,
need to
correct.
stop that nonsense right now. And I hail our president to continue doing what he's doing. Nothing will happen. Eliminate these
All right,
insurgencies,
all
and
right,
then
all right.
Nigeria can move forward to where God has placed us to be.
Great talk, George. Thank you, George. Also, moving forward in this whole discussion, there's a move now that looks nice. To some people, but there's a commitment that there's an arrangement now. Nigeria has with the United States. So the president has approved the formation of a Nigerian delegation with the U.S. on side into a working group. So the plan is to strategize towards strengthening this area of security challenges that we have. But we went through the list, George. We went through the list, and it doesn't look too balanced. The people in that working committee group. It has all of the Southwest and a little of the South Central, but it doesn't have the Southeast and some other regions of Nigeria. So how do we have a joint working group with the United States on this security issue, and it's not well represented? It's not all of the regions that has somebody there that could also talk about what is happening in their region. Southeast is also battered with all of this, even though it's not Boko Haram. It is also the southeastern terrorists. So, George, what do you say about these new arrangement to have America and Nigeria in a joint security group? What's your take on that?
So, what my take on it is this, Mr. President: when you make appointments like this on a situation, a dire situation that affects the whole entire Nigeria, there ought to be a fair, equal ground to everybody to participate. So we are asking you to revisit the same way you came out to forgive a lot of criminals, presidential pardon. And when we cried out over this, you went and revisited that thing again and decided that you're going to change your mind over some of them that were being pardoned. In the same manner, Mr. President, please go back onto your drawing board and make sure that Nigerians are represented on the 4 or 5 geographical regions of Nigeria, that they are represented, because this issue is not only north or south or west, it is all over Nigeria. So there must be an equal representation of Southeasterners, Middle Belt, Westerners, and even Northerners. Let them get involved. So, because if you do it, lopsided that way, you're already beginning a problem. Because if the root is corrupt, the whole entire situation will be corrupt. So we are asking you to go back to the drawing board and ensure that every single part of Nigeria is represented, so that they can actually represent their own people and bring their own issues on the table when it's being discussed. Because if you don't have anybody from the Southeast, how are you going to be able to get intelligence from the Southeast when these people decide to leave the northeast of Nigeria to go to Southeast or other areas? We need equal representation, Mr. President. We are asking
Thank you very much,
back
Judge.
onto your drawing board.
Okay, so viewers, that's what is happening in the new arrangement. A U.S.-Nigerian joint working group aimed to strengthening the collaboration to address these security challenges we face. We saw the list of people in that group, but we feel, we've said it here, George is saying it too now, it's not balanced. That group has the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tuga Yusuf. He has Defense Minister Ahmed Baduru. He has Interior Minister Olubumi Otunji Ojo. It has Humanitarian Affairs Minister Bernard Duro. He has the Chief of Defense Staff Olufemi Oluyede. He has all the National Intelligence Agency Director, and it also has the Police Inspector General Kayode Egbetekun. So all of those lists doesn't have balance representation of Nigeria as in the six geographical zone. Yes. So George has said it. Revisit it. Let's have a good list of everybody being represented. Thank you, George. George, small break soon, but before we go on small break, let's just announce that Jonathan Goodluck got caught up in the web of coup plotters in Guinea-Bissau. But the news is he has departed. He has long left Guinea-Bissau. He landed safely back in Nigeria after 3 days of being in that country. So it's a good news, George. Then we'll come in the break to talk about the coup itself. But we're informing our viewers that Jonathan Goodluck, Nigerian former president that was in Guinea-Bissau for election monitoring, is safely back to Nigeria. And
actually, when he has safely, he left Guinea-Bissau, after being temporarily trapped there following the Wednesday military coup. After his departure, it was confirmed that he landed in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, on Thursday to now get a flight back to Nnamdi Azikiwe's airport in Abuja. So he's safely there. And there was a cry out, for them to make sure that he's released because they don't want to get issues from Nigeria. Else you would have seen guns are blazing too.
Guns blazing. Okay, so that's the announcement there, George. Thank you. George, let's just short break. We'll be back. Viewers, you're tuned into Friday Global World Affairs, and George is here from Toronto, Canada. I'm here, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay.
It's unfortunate that President Trump has been misinformed. This false narrative that there's some persecution or a genocide.
Why isn't it a genocide against Christians in Nigeria?
We don't want to be the next Sudan.
You dispute the numbers that have been reported to have been killed, but you have no idea how many Christians have been killed.
We are not hiding any facts.
Right now, you have an Islamist government in Nigeria. There is a reason that we're seeing these Islamic militants going around and yelling Allahu Akbar. That's not by coincidence.
It's easy for her to sit thousands of miles away and play games with people's lives.
I performed several burials because the Islamic are controlling the government. Let me tell you, there's a genocide in Nigeria.
Yes, you're welcome back to SSM Friday International Updates. My name is Mark Godwin Iwejuan, and I'm here with George. I think a small glitch there. So we've just talked about the former Nigerian president that went to Guinea-Bissau on election monitoring, and he almost got caught in the web, the coup. So let's spotlight on Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is it's happened to just had election, and before we know it, there is okay. George is back. Let's spotlight on Guinea-Bissau. George, yes, we're spotting light on Guinea-Bissau. But before we go into the news of Guinea-Bissau, let's tell our viewers Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is a West African country, beautiful country, has all those beautiful waterside island arrangements, but small country, 2 million people. Guinea-Bissau is right there in West Africa. It has its capital as Bissau, and the official languages are Portuguese, Guinea Portuguese. It has had its independence since September 1973. 74. Okay, so Guinea-Bissau is that West African Atlantic coast known for wildlife and beautiful parks. But lately, Guinea-Bissau is not doing fine. Guinea-Bissau actually is also one of those poorest African countries in the world. George, Guinea-Bissau had election. When they were counting the results, suddenly from nowhere, some group of people now came and said they are taking over. Now, the story is that the president, Umaru Sissoco, is actually the one that they say masterminded that what you call simulated coup against himself, because he saw that the election might not favor him. So he did this arrangement. But George, what do you know about this whole story, Guinea-Bissau?
Well, we are hearing some different aspects of this particular coup, whether it was the president himself that masterminded it or not. I think that news might not be accurate completely, because the man has been in government for a little bit. Now he has the power to write the election and put it out there. So I really do not think. I think what is happening from another side of this story is that he was trying to actually stay in power after such a while, but because there's the opposition went and announced that they were the ones that won, and it became chaotic, and even with all the election observers being there, so we had the news that the political that the military has taken over, in a dramatic turn. So the coup has toppled the government, thrown the nation into turmoil, and then we also see that what we are seeing is just one day after the uprising, a general has been named the new leader, solidifying Zami's hold on that particular situation. The swift move highlights the ongoing volatility and instability in that region. So that's where we are right now. We're following the news, and maybe by next week, we're going to be able to, on Monday, between the lines, we might be able to talk a little bit more when more news comes out.
Okay, when more news comes out.
But
so
we are
viewers,
so
you're
happy.
hearing it. Yes.
We are so happy that they were wise
mhm.
enough to let all those former leaders in Africa to go back to their country.
Yes, those that came for the election monitoring, like our former president, Jonathan Goodluck. Goodluck was caught up in that thing, but he has arrived safely back to his home. So the general is the Huta Ntem. Huta Ntem is the transitional president they say he will be a transitional president for a period of time. That's the general right there in the middle with those other officers. And Guinea-Bissau, but George, Guinea-Bissau is a small country, but still economically very poor. And all they could be doing is making coup, taking power, wanting to lead, and they can't help the people. So many coups, all these coups, and all of the people that come. Yes, all of the people that comes in don't perform. It's not like they bring a new change, to the citizens' life, George. And now this one again. I mean, is it like a curse that they will be having that cycle of coups and nothing out of it? Anyway,
it's really a mentality.
George,
it's really a mentality. It's sad.
It's a mentality.
It's very sad. Yeah, it's a belief system whereby most of the people that are in power, even if they have gone out, because of the belief system, and around the people, that they surround themselves with, you don't see them moving anywhere to develop the country or to make the country a little better. And it's all about leaders living large while the poor people are just dying daily. It's sad. It is very sad.
Okay. All right, George, what's happening with the Afghan man that was accused of shooting 2 members of the United States military? What's the news there? We had the National Guard shooting.
Yeah, so this is what they call it targeted attack. The shooting of National Guard members in Washington, D.C. is being described as a targeted attack by a man.
You can unmute. Sorry, George. You can unmute. You can go ahead. Unmute your phone.
Okay. So what we're seeing is this guy drove a long way in order to go to Washington, D.C. And the shooter has already been arrested. He's been detained. The assailant was shot and detained by other National Guard members at the scene, and now faces multiple serious charges and an assault with intent to kill. And police response the following. Following the attack, the President Trump announced a major re-examination of immigration, specifically targeting green cards for individuals from countries of concern again, and suspending requests from Afghan. So now anybody from permanently, there's no one from Afghan who will be allowed to enter into the United States of America because of this. And the increased security, the president, also ordered an additional 500 National Guard troops to be deployed to Washington, D.C., joining the thousands already stationed there. So what we're seeing, people can you just imagine what is happening right now? This particular attack is affecting all international
all of that nine countries, nine people, innocent
Nigeria
people.
has been designated as a country of a particular concern. So it is very possible when they're deploying these people out there, there are a lot of green card holders from Nigeria, because it's part of the country of a particular concern, will be affected. They might be deporting a lot of green card holders from different countries, only simply because of this stupidity that this idiot just did. Not thinking.
Thinking. Open up again, George. Sorry, it comes in suddenly, and open up your phone. Yes. So that's it. So that's the man there. That's the Afghan national that went to the National Guard area of Washington, D.C. and shot 2 members of the United States military. And now He has added 9 countries into the list of countries that will be checking out. The names of the 2 officers are Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf. 20-year-old Sarah, 24 years old Andrew, and they say they are in very critical conditions in the hospital. Now, the story of this man is that he came to the United States in 2021 under a program that offered special immigration protection to Afghans that helped America when they were in Afghan. So this man somehow was like an assistant. He helped with
CIA. He worked with CIA.
He worked with CIA. So now he has turned around to be against it. Okay. George, thank you for that story. George, we also have the news coming, even though it's almost 3 days old now. Brazilian former President Jair Bolsonaro is he's being pushed to his 27-year prison sentence. Jair, the former president, because he attempted coup during the reign of the other man. Forgotten his name now. So 27 years awaiting former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. George, did you hear that? Is there anything on that?
Yes. Yeah. Brazilian court has upheld a conviction against former President Jair Bolsonaro, sentencing him to 27 years in prison for abuse of power and misuse of media. The ruling linked to his actions during the 2022 election, and means he must begin serving his sentence immediately. I believe that I heard also that he was trying to tamper with his, the security system that they put on his leg. He wanted to escape, and so they rearrested him, put him in prison. So he's going to start serving his 27 years in prison. But these things they do.
So that means the rule of law works in Brazil. That's just what it means.
Well, it does. But you see, most times when you see things like this, you have to ask yourself, is it a clean thing that they do? Because they can, accuse this man falsely. They can actually, put something on him and say, well, this is it with the ruling class. So maybe they don't like him. Maybe a political opponent can just say, "Oh, this is what he's trying to do," and then they go to court. Brazil is no different from Nigeria. Brazil is no different from Nigeria. So whether that is true or not, we don't know. But that's the news that we have.
That's the news that we have. Okay, viewers, that's the picture of the president there. That's former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. Sentenced to 27 years in prison for plotting an attempted coup. Jair Bolsonaro. All right, George. Ukraine says they've reached an agreement with US on a peace plan with Putin, but that peace plan, they say, might require the Ukrainians to give out some of their land and reduce their military, and some changes in all the plan they had initially with the United States. George, we hope, we wished Dr. Ibe came in to tell us all of that. But anyway, there's a plan for peace, and Ukraine is meeting with Trump, and hopefully they might meet also with Putin to put all the plans well. But those plans means land concession and military reduction, like the source says. George, is there anything you want to say on that?
It is a sad development, as a matter of fact, because we don't know why Trump cannot push Putin to accept a ceasefire and stop these unnecessary killings. In a significant diplomatic development, Ukraine has announced that they've reached an understanding with the United States on a shared peace plan to end the war with Russia. This suggests a key step in aligning the strategies of Kyiv and its most crucial allies. In a separate but related move, former President President Donald Trump stated that his personal envoy will soon meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The highlights of the parallel unofficial diplomatic track that are forming as the conflict continues. So we see, you see, the impetus of Putin is something that the world need to take a look at, because number one, he's violated every single international law when it comes to war. He's killing, killing a whole lot of civilians unnecessarily, and every time there is, he kept on increasing the attack on these people and killing innocent people, bombing hospitals, bombing apartments, condominiums, and people's houses. That's not the way it's supposed to be, And yet the war was even, was lopsided, because there are things, Ukraine was not allowed to do in order not to inflict pain on Russia. So this is just, Trump is doing this because he wants to be like Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize that he's pursuing. But that cannot be done, to compromise the lives and a nation's sovereignty that this man came to attack. It's not good. We need a fair, equal ceasefire. Everybody dwell at peace with one another. These are their brothers. They were one nation under this thing before. So this is not good. I don't think this development, it might not even last. The only problem
let's see how that plays out. But this clearly shows that America is not as strong as they say, because if Trump cannot get Putin to his knees and follow up with their own dictate also, then let's just
it's a very sad
just what it is.
It's a very sad news.
All right, George. France, interestingly, is closing ties with a state in Nigeria called Kano State. France is going to Kano and building deep relationship with Kano State. Kano State is not core north of Nigeria. The French ambassador in Nigeria says, yes, they are doing this because they want to deepen cultural and economical ties with Kano, and also language. What they are doing, how they are going about it, is bringing the French language into Kano. So very soon we'll be seeing many Hausa people in Kano speak French, because this is what they want to do. George, we want to see more alliance. We want to see more collaborations like this. But is language
do we really need to see language? Do we really need to see more collaborations like this? Is the question that you need to ask.
Well, yeah.
Because think about it for a moment.
George,
think about it.
Okay.
Think about it. France is in a desperate move to capture more countries when Mali and many other, Cote d'Ivoire and the rest of them decided they don't want to have anything to do with them. Chad and the rest of them. So, and they have been milking these nations for many, many years. Many years. Milking them, raping them economically. So now they are looking for new allies, and these new allies is a desperate move. So for them to start, inching into a Kano, to a new cultural hub they say they want to build. They inaugurated a new alliance, they call it Francais Center in Kano, Nigeria, to promote French language and culture in the region. So they haven't even gotten English. They want to bring in French again. Okay, the French ambassador emphasized that learning French is a vehicle for wealth and prosperity, opening doors to employment and global connection. They used to do a lot with Niger Republic. Now, all of a sudden, that door is closed, and that's why they put a little foothold into Nigeria. The opening underscores France's commitment to deepening its diplomatic, economic, and partnership with Kano State and the northern Nigeria. So let me tell you something. See, this move should not be welcomed if it wasn't because of our president dilly-dallying with France. There gotta be some kind of connection, something he loves about French people.
But George, I'm surprised you're saying so much about France. Next door to your country where you are, they speak French. Is it not so?
Well, they do speak French, but we're not a French-speaking country. We have seen what has happened to these French-speaking countries when France gets into them. So France, what the reason why France is coming into Kano is not because they love Nigeria so much. They're looking for avenues to milk also our resources. That's what they're doing. It is a diplomatic economic move. They think talking about, we're going to help Nigeria. They're not helping Nigeria. They're helping themselves. When Mali and all these other countries said, we don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, what happened was that, their economy was in a chaotic situation and condition. And that is the reason why they're bringing a foothold into our country. I don't think we should allow that, because these people, they don't come with your interest at heart. They come with their own best interest at heart.
All right, George, let's put our viewers to what we're discussing. Viewers, we're discussing a very interesting collaboration there in north of Nigeria. Kano State has an alliance now with France. France says they want to teach Kano people French language because it will be a language that will bring them wealth and prosperity. We don't know how that will work. But yes, French is the new friend to the Hausa people. And George, listen to this. Collaborations are good when there are clean motives. We build bridges, we connect with ourselves, we expand our businesses and our relationship through collaborating. But like what you're saying, in most times with the Europeans, that collaboration is one-sided. It's just for their own interests, not also trying to help
Look
the other
at
man.
the history of what they have done with other countries and why they are refusing to allow them to have any kind of diplomatic connections with them again. They did not leave a good trail. They did not leave any good examples, to what they're leaving behind with these other countries. Look at most of the countries where France is. There is no peace in those places. There is no prosperity in those areas. These people, they come, they take all their mineral resources and they give them a little aid here and there, which only goes to the ruling class, and the poor people are still dying and going into these mines and mining all these minerals for these people for kobos on the whole dollar. So this is not well. I'm not quite sure that this is a very diplomatic move. That will help us out.
Let's see where it takes Kano State to in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Let's see what will come out of that whole thing.
Let me warn Nigeria as a whole. Be careful when you are allowing these countries to penetrate into us. China is already having a stronghold in Nigeria. Now France is coming in again, and you see what they're doing. They're taking states now. They're taking states. And before you know it, you will see when a white man comes into your country, let your two eyes be open. Don't close one. Because they have a long-term agenda. One problem we have in Nigeria is most of our agenda is for today, not for tomorrow. But these people have a long-term plan. They don't come. They come with open eyes to malign and to destroy and make sure that they rape you with your eyes wide open. Don't allow soap to enter in your eyes while you're in the water.
Okay. George, there's a story from your end there. Quebec, the Canadian province, says they plan to impose restrictions on public prayer. They plan to limit the what people do in the public. Also, this face covering of women and all of that. Do you have that story?
Yes, I do have that story.
Yeah, tell us, George. Tell us what's that story?
Bill 20. It's called Bill 21. It requires public services like teaching or government jobs be provided and received with face uncovered, reinforcing the religious neutrality of the state or the region per se. The law relies on the notwithstanding clause. It is a constitutional tool that allows Quebec to override certain fundamental freedoms, preventing courts from striking it down. While it applies to all regions, critics argue that the law disproportionately affects regions, minority, and particular Muslim women who wear face covering. Now, the Supreme Court of Canada will hear they will now hear the case. A debate over secularism continues to, to deeply divide public opinion in this particular issue. Now, what you're seeing, France already has it, because you see these women, they come out covering their faces. All you see is their eyes, and then a case came not too long ago where a teacher was trying to change the curriculum on the class, and they started teaching Sharia laws and Islamic laws, and they won't teach them what is in the curriculum. So this is part of the reason why there was an outcry, and people are saying we should not allow this to happen anymore. Therefore, when you come into our country, this is our country. It's a secular movement. Therefore, you must abide by what we tell you to do. Don't bring your laws
and not you tell us what you want.
Manipulate our children. Teaching. They refuse to teach sex class and some other classes that they were told to teach. So these are the things that are happening right now.
All right, George. George, thank you very much. Viewers, this is a beautiful engagement going on here. Beautiful discussion updates, news update with George from Toronto, Canada. George, we got to go. It's time to go. What's your last word for today? It's almost time now.
Number one, I'll hail our president on this move that he's making regarding working with the U.S. in order to just permanently eliminate these insurgencies in Nigeria. He's stifled our economy. He's messed us up. He's only, just helping one area and destroying the rest of the nation. So kudos, Mr. President. Continue with this move and do not allow these people to, threaten you or to try to push you not to make the move you're making. And when you are making the move, Mr. President, please go back to the drawing table and make sure that all regions in Nigeria are represented, because they're going to go all out there and be able to tell the story of what's happening. It's akin to we saying that we need to bring, state policing. It's almost the same thing. So in the same way, let all regions be represented when they're discussing this issue with, United States of America.
And it's interesting that some of the names in the list, even the National Security Advisor, is a Fulani man. So it is like telling the dog to watch over bone. Telling the dog.
And not only that, we need to get them involved, whether they like it or not, because the move is already on the way. So now we need to get them involved, but we also need to get the Easterners involved, the Southeast involved, Mr.
Nice.
President.
Georgie, thank you very much. Viewers,
get them involved, Mr. President. It is important that all parts of Nigeria be represented. Don't, because we've been crying out that the Southeasterners have been marginalized, and it is true. So pay attention to that if you want to be the president to everybody in Nigeria. We are hailing you and praying for you that God will give you that strength and the wisdom to continue this move that you are making. Now we see the economy is reversing. Things are changing. The price of rice is getting better. The price of gasoline is, is stabilizing in Nigeria. So there are so many positive moves, though they started not very good. But now
there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and 2027 is coming, Mr. President. Make sure that Southeasterners and the Middle Belt, these people, whatever they're going through, let's go to the root causes and destroy them permanently so that our nation can move forward.
All right, George. Thank you very much, George. All the talk is awesome. So, viewers, this is it. Friday International Update, it wraps up for the week. Hopefully, we'll be here Monday with Between the Lines. So, on behalf of me and the team, have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Keep praying for Nigeria. Pray for all the places where the peace has not really taken hold. We need peace. We need to stop all this killing. We need to stop violence and all of that. So till we come again, have a great weekend. God bless you all. Thank you, George. See you, George. See you on the other side.
Yes.